I will say this though. I was talking to my cousin about this. Because we was watching the tournament, the women's tournament. We watching UConn versus USC, and one thing I noticed about that game is just how much better the women's game is compared to the men's game.
As far as what?
Fundamentals. Let me tell you something. So I was watching Paige Beckers, and her ability to move without the ball, understanding stuff like that, making the right reads, making the right passes. I was just like, where's this in the men's game?
I'm telling you, it's because the men's game, they can rely on athletic ability and just skill, whatever it was, skill and athletic ability.
And remember the whole conversation about, AAU ball is ruining everything. I'm looking at the women's game, and I'm like, they have AAU ball too.
A few of them be playing with the boys and stuff.
And they're more fundamentally sound. They seem like they're well coached. So what is it then? What is the reason why the women's game at times just looks better than the men's game? What's going on? If they both have AAU, if they both are in AAU circuits, what is going on?
The coaching. It seems like there's a more emphasis for the women's side on like the fundamentals, but the men side, they just like get a bucket or just,
or maybe the men. I don't know if it's coaching. It's weird, man. It's really weird. Who knows? Like I will have to talk to somebody that's in that sort of realm, because I'm wondering, is it actually coaching, or maybe the players aren't just putting their best foot forward? Maybe the players aren't really doing their due diligence, trying to make themselves better, trying to improve their fundamentals. Because I see a lot of times, like a lot of these players coming out of high school that rely on just athleticism, rely on just their talent alone, while the women, they have to really develop their fundamentals, like the simple stuff, like bounce passes, different passes, being able to come off of screens and stuff like that. They have to really rely on that, while with the men, it's more so, I'm so quick, I could go off my first step. Tween cross, step back.
If I'm late on the assignment, I could at least be a twitched up athlete and just go try to recover as best as I can. You missed that assignment on the women's division. You gave up an open layup.
So maybe it's not necessarily the coaching. Maybe it's just the men are lazy. Maybe it could be that. Maybe it's because they just think that, I'm all good. I can rely on my talent. I don't really need to watch a whole lot of film. I don't really need to work on my fundamentals like that. Maybe the women are just hungrier. Maybe that could be the case. I'm looking at JuJu Watkins. You compare her game to the men's game. It's not many dudes playing like JuJu. It's not many dudes moving like JuJu. You know what I'm saying?
JuJu's nice, man. She's going to be a monster.
She's going to be, man.
By her junior year,
she going to probably average 35. She cooking on them girls.
She plays the game so smooth.
Exactly, and
she plays like a dude. Honestly, she really moves like she been playing. She grew up playing against
only dudes.
Yeah, all her life.
Yeah, I bet she did.
And she do be training with booking them. So.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like, maybe we always blame the coaches, but maybe it's the players. Because if the women are more fundamentally sound, maybe it's not necessarily the coaches, but more so the players have to hold themselves accountable. Because I'm looking at it nowadays where this coddling of players. I've heard it before on podcasts and all this other stuff about how these athletes nowadays, these basketball players, these men's basketball players nowadays are getting coddled so much that when they enter the league, they feel entitled. And when a coach is disciplining them, they react a certain way rather than respect the coaching, respect the teaching that they're trying to give to them. And that's why, nowadays the whole old coaching style where, you're yelling in their face and all this other stuff. Like, it's like players aren't responding to that. They take it as a sign of disrespect. They're fearful. Like, while in the past it wasn't necessarily like that. That was just the
standard,
norm. Yeah. So maybe it's not necessarily the coaches. Maybe it's just the players. If the women
just could be outworking them.
Exactly.